had video issues this morning. Are you seeing that, Ava? Did you see that? The video was like pausing. I've never in all my years doing this have had those issues. I'm like, what is happening this morning? Why are the videos? So I'm sure Mercury's in retrograde somewhere and someone will tell me that. But boy, that goes along with what we were going to talk about this morning on trusting God's plan, because we try to control everything as humans. And as we can see, that doesn't happen. And I have an amazing member with us today on this holiday Monday, getting into the holiday week of 4th of July. For those of you that are in the United States, we celebrate our independence tomorrow on the 4th of July. And today is the 3rd. And most people in corporate or off work today or celebrating somewhere with their families. But today, Ava and I are celebrating so many things, and we're going to get into that. Ava Manuel's here. She's the senior editor at the LA Tribune. Ava, welcome to today's Spotlight of You, girlfriend.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for having me. It's such an honor, Colleen. I am so grateful for everything that you do. And you know what? I think this perfectly opens up to something that I've been like really meditating on in the last week, and that's excellence is the best that you can do with what you got. And this is what we got. It's not perfection, but excellence is the best that you can do with what you got.
That's right. And I always believe that things happen for a reason. That's why we're not only talking about gaining visibility today through publishing, but also trusting God's plan. I just got off a call this morning with I do a motivation call every Monday morning with my clients. And one of my clients had just had the biggest month she'd ever had financially. And immediately the day after, she was in tears, not celebrating herself, but just already thinking of this weight of stress of how am I going to duplicate that month again? It's not possible. I can't do it. I'm not enough. And that was her conversation she had with herself. So when we're talking about trusting God's plan, what does that mean to you, Ava?
Well, I had a discovery recently, very, very recently. I had so many failures in the past. I have done a lot of like paid programs that didn't materialize. I started a lot of things that did not monetize. And I was sitting with a client who we were walking through the LA Tribune, the Los Angeles Tribune. We were going to do a 5-day challenge for them, turn it into a book launch, a bestseller book launch, turn it into a course, then turn it into an evergreen program, right? And she's like, you can do all of this. How can you do all of this? And I just turned my head sideways, smiled, and I said, because I failed so much. And that's when I realized that, it's kind of like a college course. You took biology. I'm from the healthcare industry. My background is in healthcare. You took biology not to become a biologist. You took pharmacology not to be a pharmacist, right? You took zoology not to be a zoologist, right? Like all of that, only to be in a different purpose that actually brings that all together. And so it's just so beautiful to see that all of what I've labeled as failures or labeled as things that did not materialize were actually stepping stones to a greater purpose that's not serving and elevating, and empowering others in media. And who knew I'd be here, right? It's just trusting God and knowing that everything God makes all things work together for good.
I totally agree with you. How long have you been with the Los Angeles Tribune, Ava?
I've been with them 2 years. I started actually creating their events, their virtual events in the background. And, recently we've created a project for the Special Thought Leader Edition, which is featuring expertise. And it speaks so much in my heart because from the healthcare, I'm a fanatic, physical therapist, wound care specialist, lymphedema therapist also. But I was the world's biggest secret. And it's weird because I'm so good with wounds. Like I heal wounds that wouldn't heal for over 12 years. It would open in and out. But at the same time, people don't recognize me because like, where do you get a physical therapist who specializes in wounds, right? Doctors would like, raise their eyebrows. And I always thought, if I only have a recognition, if my expertise was only recognized, then they would listen to me. Like I would have a voice. I would change healthcare because the biggest expense in healthcare are wounds that go back and forth in and out of the hospital, cellulitis. And so I'm like, if I only had the name. And so this is where I went on a pursuit of how do I get the expertise and how do I get the recognition? And lo and behold, I am now doing it for a lot of people. So I'm excited for what positioning people as experts in their fields can really
Yeah.
do, opening up their voice and being able to be heard and be able to send their message out instead of being the world's biggest secret.
Right. Well, we know that the LEAP community really stands for being seen, being heard, and being visible, and giving women platforms to be able to share their brand through podcasting, through master classes, through newsletters, blogs, all of these areas that we promote our members in. How does the Los Angeles Tribune become a conduit for women to gain visibility? What is kind of the best route for that for any entrepreneur listening today? How could they leverage the Los Angeles Tribune to do that?
Colleen, what's amazing is the upcoming edition that's coming out towards the end of the week is especially for women in leadership. And
Mm,
I still have a space to get you there. So I want to be able to get you as a woman leader, as a woman who leads women in this movement. And so to get them there, what it's a one-on-one appointment with me, everyone that we feature in the Thought Leader edition. We really vet because we stand behind our word and our integrity since 1886, that we feature expertise and authority in the field to be able to give them that notoriety and that
mhm,
authority and that credibility by being featured in the Los Angeles Tribune. And how that opens doors is pretty much a two-liner. My work was recently featured, or my expertise in your topic was recently featured in the Los Angeles Tribune. Read the article here, and then you can say whatever your call to action is. I could speak in your podcast, I could serve your audience, but it's just pretty much a two-liner. And the
mm.
credibility that you no longer talk about yourselves, but you have a major media company who's been around over a century, who's now talking about you and who's now highlighting your expertise.
That's
That's the
huge.
difference that we do. Yeah.
Yeah, that's big. And that credibility piece in working with a large company such as the Los Angeles Tribune. I know I met Mo Rock several years ago, actually, through a mutual friend, David Fagan, and I know he's just an incredible human being and has really been running this organization with a lot of integrity. So, if you want to learn
Absolutely.
more about how you can be featured in the Los Angeles Tribune, I think one of the first things you need to do is connect with Ava. So I
Yes.
put her link tree here. Every single one of you can connect with Ava through her link tree. And then, of course, we also have the Los Angeles Tribune digital news. So this would be the download for them to click on and sign up to subscribe to be able to get the digital news. Is that correct? And then what's the
Yes.
difference between that and the digital article?
So the digital news is where we actually have something update every day. It's the news. Although whenever
Got
it's
it.
featured by the editorial team of the Los Angeles Tribune, it's going to be positive news. There's also news that kind of like streams from everywhere. Now the print edition, the special edition, is quarterly, and that's where we feature expertise, and
Okay.
we honor people who really have done so much in their field.
I
Yeah.
love that. I love that. And then the digital articles are also available for them to connect with. Who would you consider, like, if you could share with me some of the individuals that you've kind of remember being in this special edition, also being in having articles in the Los Angeles Tribune as thought leaders. I think there's a lot of men and women out there that might be watching this video and thinking to themselves, oh, I'm not anybody special. They're not going to want
Mm,
me in the Los Angeles Tribune. Why would they think that I would be an expert? I'm sure that those
right. And
little voices.
that's exactly what we're here for. I always say it starts with a conversation with me,
Hmm.
because a lot of times I have to pull it out of people. It's so common for women to think very little of themselves and to sell themselves short. And so a lot of times when I'm creating the digital article that really speaks about them and pulls together the different parts and the different areas, and I put it together, and my editorial team puts it together in one article, they're blown away by how much they do. But a lot of times, like, we don't put that together, and we we are able to elevate ourselves or even receive, our true greatness. So my, my invitation is just go on an exploration. And if you're good at what you do and you have a conviction that you have a message and a purpose, meet with me, because we'll pull that all together. It's not uncommon that people have a hard time like really bragging about themselves, and that's where the Los Angeles Tribune bragging about you comes into play and comes into like a great aid, because we're not good. I mean, I'm sure, Colleen, even you don't do a great job bragging about yourself and what you do.
Probably not. I could probably do much better. My focus is generally not on me. My focus is always on the clients and the women that I serve. As any female entrepreneur, I'm focused on them because my mission really is about them building a business that they're proud of, and also building a business that allows them to be financially independent, that creates choices for women. And even though today's day and age, many women might think that I'm archaic saying that, there are a lot of women out there, including maybe some of you that are listening today, that might have amazing jobs in corporate America or own a business, but you can't stand on your own financially. You're not financially independent. So you're dependent upon somebody else financially. And I've made it my mission to work with women to be able to understand how to generate the income to be able to do that. I think it's very important. And it gives you a sense of empowerment, and that ball starts rolling. And when you feel empowered in one area of your life, it generally permeates empowerment throughout the entire areas of your life. And empowerment is really about feeling confident, feeling intentional, having clarity, and making decisions confidently, knowing that it doesn't matter if that's a stepping stone that leads to failure or a stepping stone that leads to success. I am empowered to make that decision and feel comfortable with that decision. Um,
Absolutely, absolutely. One of the things that I always say is, as progressive leaders, we will make more mistakes in 1 year than an average person will make in a lifetime, because we take risks, because we're willing to get it wrong, because we're willing
yes,
to not look good, right? But that's what makes us leaders. That's
that's
what
what
makes us
makes us
leaders.
leaders. And if we're not risking and we're not failing, then how are we growing? I just
Yes,
want everyone to ask themselves that question. So many people play it safe because they're scared to fail, but failure's where growth is. So for
yes,
me, if I'm too comfortable, I'm not risking enough. It's like, wait a minute, I got to change something, the way that I'm doing some things. I need to risk more. For me, I love risks. My husband struggles with that a little bit. And so we've made some bad investments, a lot of money, bad investments. And whenever we go to make another investment, he'll say, yeah, but what if that happens, what happened last time? And I just looked at him, and I've said this in the last week to him. It's only money and we can make more money, but would you rather have gotten on the other end of this and die knowing you never even tried? Never
yeah,
even tried. You never even risked to know that it was possible. So let's take the risk to see if it's possible, because all of the amazing things that could happen out of this could be just change our life for the future completely. So, yes, let's do
absolutely.
it. Yeah.
And you learn the most. You learn the most, in things
Yeah.
that didn't quite turn out the way you wanted it to. And that's the most important thing, is not to go on shame, blame, guilt, or fault, it's that, but to go into like, what's the gold and what's the lesson in here for me, because that's priceless.
Yeah. And
I agree.
to me, I'm not really living unless I'm living, right? I'm living in the moment. I'm living life to do things that it's like, yeah, well, who knows what the outcome's going to be, but I'm going to do it anyway. I just put money down on an event that I'm having November 17th here in Arizona, and I saved the space already and put my money down and put a deposit. And I will tell you that the lady's like, well, how many do you think you're going to have? And when are you going to have a final count? I'm like, I don't know. I'm guesstimating on how many people I think I'm going to have here. I've never done this type of event before locally here. So I'm just guessing, and this is what we're going to come up with. And sometimes it's about trusting ourselves that
Absolutely.
we know that we can do it, and not really worrying about what we think the outcome is going to be, but looking at the vision and visualizing it happening the amazing way that it possibly could, and kind of squashing all those negative things. Ava, is there
Absolutely.
any last words that you want to share with everybody today?
Well, I would say to how you were saying a while ago that you don't really focus on yourself and that you focus on serving others. That's exactly what we're here for. We're here to elevate you, to uplift you, to empower you, to be that wind beneath your wings in everything that you're doing. Because I know that women, and godly women, especially, and godly men, serve and serve and serve and serve. And the Los Angeles Tribune is here to be the wind beneath your wings, to be able to elevate you and expand your reach, because your
Mm.
reach, your message gets to be heard in a bigger way.
That's right. And I don't think we could have ended that in a more beautiful way, Ava. So happy
Mhm.
holidays to every single one of you. And I hope that you guys are, ladies, gentlemen, you all have an absolutely amazing holiday with your family, a beautiful fourth. Celebrate with apple pie and water slides and hot dogs and all the fun stuff that comes with fireworks, and everything that we can do to just spend time with family. And remember, this is the reason why we do what we do every day, right? We get up every day, we make money so that we can go and make beautiful memories with our families. So we hope that you go do that this week. And Ava, thank you so much for your dedication and value add as being a member of the LEAP community. It's just such a pleasure to be able to
Mm.
spotlight you today.
Thank you for what you do.
All right, everyone. Until next time, don't forget, be you and be strong. Go crush your goals this week. We'll see you later. Bye bye. Have a wonderful week.
Have a wonderful day.